Welcome to part 15 of the ongoing AS and A-level Java series, and in this episode we are going to be looking at the for loop. So without further ado, let's go ahead and create the main method for this particular class, and within the class let's declare two variables. Actually, maybe let's start by not declaring any variables. Let's just start by typing away on the keyboard. So in order for us to declare or to create a for loop, make use of the keyword for. Then the structure of the for loop is that you are going to have to define three parameters as it were within the parentheses for the for loop. So the first parameter is going to be the initializer, right, where you initialize the counter. Then the next parameter is going to be the test condition, and the final parameter is going to be the counter or the increment, is it? So let's actually declare an integer called I, short for index. Then we set the value of I to 0. Then we need to have I less than or equal to 10. That's the test condition. Then ultimately we need to increment I by 1 every time. So we say I plus plus, right? That's shorthand for incrementing a particular value by 1. Then after that we simply open the body for the for loop. Then within the loop we simply want to system.out.println, and we simply want to print out I, and we terminate there, and we are done. So that's basically the for loop declaration and structure. So let's just go ahead and run the code and see what we get down there in the console. So you see that the output is exactly the same for the previous two loops that we looked at, that is for the while loop and the do while loop, is it? But now it's only the structure that's different. So the for loop is actually more powerful than your standard while and do while, simply because it gives you more control over how you define your counter and how you increment it, and also how you test the condition. So you can see that you can actually do it in one step like that. Then you just have to focus on your expressions that you would want to run within the body for that particular loop. So the for loop is also a precondition loop, just like the while, right? We first check the condition, and we then system.out right there the value of I. So remember, I, we've defined it in this case. I is an integer and it is equal to 0. Then I is to be less than or equal to 10. Then we are incrementing I by what? By 1 every time. So the reason why I'm saying that the for loop is more powerful, or it's actually more structured than the other two types of loops, is that you can actually do something like, maybe say we wanted to print out the values of maybe say we simply want to output the even numbers between 1 and 10. We can actually do that. Not to say that we can do this with other loops, but I'm just saying that the for loop does this much better in terms of the syntax, unlike the other two loops. So what you would simply do is, now you just come here and say I plus equal to 2, is it? So basically we are saying that I, maybe let me just run the code, then I'll explain what's going on. So if you run the code, you realize that you get 0, then 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10, right? So that's what I'm saying about the control of the for loop. That is that it gives us more control, unlike the previous two loops. But of course, you could do the same thing with either a do while loop or a while loop. Yeah. So I think that's just about it for this tutorial. Then maybe one more thing that I should mention is that you can actually declare these variables independently. Like for instance, you can have let's say counter as before, right? We have counter, we put it, we give it a value of 0. Then we have a value of limit, and we give it a value of 100. Then you can actually count from 0 to 100 using those variables. So you do not need to declare them within the header for the for loop, but you can actually declare them beforehand Then you can then come to your loop, and what you can do now is you can then say counter equal to 0. And so maybe let me remove this 0 right here. Let me just declare counter, then I will initialize it within the loop. Then I say counter is less than or equal to 100. Then maybe I simply want to print the multiples of 10 between 0 and 100, so I can then say counter plus equal 10, just like that. Then I open the body for the loop, then I simply system dot out dot print line, then I simply want to print counter right there. Then maybe let me just comment out this code so that we do not have a lot going on down in the console. So I'll just comment out the first loop right there. Then I'll just run this, and you realize that I get 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, all the way up to 100. So basically I'm getting the multiples of 10. So that's how you can make use of a for loop with predefined or pre-declared variables. Then you can then take those variables and declare them and make use of them within the body of within the header of the for loop. Actually, this one was supposed to be 100. It was supposed to be less than limit because we did define limit right there. So save and just try one more time, and you see that the output is still the same. So I think that's just about it for this tutorial. That's the for loop for you. I'll see you in the next one.